Patreon member shout out. You got me deeper than deep and I'm constantly blinded. I'm running around but there's no place to hide. Start to talk in my sleep, our souls are divided. Why can't they forgive me, these demons inside? Deeper than deep and I'm constantly blinded. My heart starts to shiver. Hey guys, how's it going? It is I, the real Randy Chavez, coming at you today with a Veve Owe Me update video. Guys, if you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. I love y'all. Everyone say hello to Dashi. Hello Dashi. Everyone comment down below if you like Cascada. Love that song. Also, thank you all for watching the Foster Hilt interview that I did with him. If you haven't seen that, go check that out. Lots of really good information. He is known as the Coin Wizard. We do love him. We're both pretty bullish, conservatively so, I would say. But that being said, there are a lot of people that are bearish right now, like a bunch of people that are really concerned about the hack or the gem glitch, whatever you want to call it. Honestly, right now, nobody knows exactly how much money was printed or minted, that wasn't supposed to be. And there is a lot of FUD in the streets, so I figured I'd make this video, kind of give you guys some perspective on how much is too much, how much is too little. The marketplace is closed, I guess, while things are going on. I don't know when that'll be back up. Again, remember last year when the marketplace was closed for like a month? We didn't have a marketplace for quite a while. We survived that, and came back stronger than ever. So obviously with this, even like worst case scenario, I don't know, 8, 10, 20 million, whatever number you want to come up with, let's put this into perspective. In August of last year, it was reported that we had signed a $50 million deal with Art Singh, Art Patron, whatever you want to call him, how he calls himself on Instagram, from Rewind Collective, Givenchy, that whole thing. 6-year, $50 million deal. Had enough money to do that. Vanity Fair had just quoted them as being a multi-billion-dollar company. Akil Patterson just said that he estimates about 4 to 5 billion. Either way, multi-billion-dollar company from Vanity Fair. They tend to do their homework. They're not wrong. If they have to pay 20 million, which if they have to, we don't know who would be responsible for those fees or how much of that we would have to cover. But for the most part, even if for whatever reason they couldn't, which they clearly can based on the valuation, at any point in time they could go and raise money whenever they need to. Whether it's for this, whether they want to expand. They haven't done really a capital raise really since their ICO, people buying the coins, whatnot. They haven't needed to. They sell out every single drop. They make fees on the marketplace. They go crazy. So just to put that in perspective, multi-billion-dollar company, maybe they have to pay X amount of millions of dollars if they do. Just kind of trying to calm the waters there. In other news, there's a couple of things that I went over that I did not go over on my last video, talking about the video update. I forgot to mention Red Cross, shout out to them. Also, this kind of brings home the point for that I was just trying to bring up. It wouldn't really make much sense for Veve to try to scrape up a drop specifically for charity, where we raise over $750,000 for the people that are affected in Ukraine that were, driven out or displaced. I think they did say in their video that more of that is to come. I cannot wait for that. And again, shout out to Red Cross for making that video, thanking us. That did mean a lot. Another rumor that we have is the GameStop rumor, and I think this does not come from Watcher Guru. This has come to me beforehand, but I will go over that in just a second. A few hours ago, GameStop has released the beta version of their NFT Metaverse. Again, that part comes from Watcher Guru over on Twitter. But the main rumor that I have been hearing is that you have GameStop, Immutable X, Coinbase, and Veve all joining into one. Here's how I have to break that down. Here's how I have to break that down. All right, Coinbase, obviously a big investor into Immutable X, and on the end of that video, they did say, hey, Immutable X is kind of getting their act together to be interoperable with OpenSea. I don't really think that came from Veve. If it did, great. There, we have some, I guess, negotiating power. But most likely, I did think that came from Immutable X, and Veve is just going to be a recipient of a lot of the benefits. And again, why? Coinbase doesn't really have a lot of IP of their own. They have millions of people ready to go on Coinbase NFT, but again, no IP of their own. So it would make some poetic sense to have a company that they've invested a lot of money in, like Immutable X, to have interoperability with everything. One of the major players, two of the major players, one being Veve, the other being OpenSea. And also, we do have some HRO cards. I got one. Shout out to Scabby for gifting me one of those. I finally in the HRO family. I feel really good. Also to Proc Blockchain getting the fiches on there. He gifted me some fiches, so I'm a part of the fiche family officially. Shout out to him. All of these things, I don't know if fiches are able to trade on Immutable X. I'm sure they will be at some point. I will have to go over that with him when he's on the podcast on the 28th. But that being said, GameStop has also, like I just reported, throw its name in the hat, in the ring, whatever you want to call it, for that. Yeah, that would be great. GameStop will probably at some point partner with Immutable X and partner with Coinbase NFT and partner with OpenSea. And guess what? We'll be a part of that ecosystem. I think it's a win-win-win-win situation. Again, just my opinion on that. Seems like Veve could do very well having all of those major exchanges, and all of the IP that we have would probably want to go and say, yes, in the smart contracts, as long as they make some money, they don't really care where they sell. I would imagine that they just want to get that transaction fee. They could sell any place that's reputable. And again, GameStop, Immutable X, Coinbase, Veve, all of those things, very, very reputable. I would imagine that the big cojones at DC, Givenchy, Disney, Marvel, whatever you want to call it, Aston Martin that we've had, be really awesome if they could go on board and do a big push. Again, not including all of the smaller artists, which are most likely to go on first, just because there's not as much red tape. You don't have a whole bunch of meetings that you have to go through. It'd be a lot easier for DesignerCon NFTs to go on first, just my opinion. But we have more to go. Speaking of more stuff, they did say, like last year, they will be at Anaheim, DesignerCon in Anaheim. That will be in November. They did also mention DesignerCon in London. So Veve still not doing what we hope to have in the future, a full VeveCon. They will be a part of DesignerCon, both West and East, part of the world. And then they will also try to be a part of San Diego Comic-Con, which would be great. I think Jeremy Padua even actually said that he would be there as well, but that was before Veve announced it. I think he's going to be there just for himself, just for the companies that he represents. So I'm going to try to go to all of those, depending on if Omi Moons or not. And then they said they're going to try for New York Comic Con as well. Would clearly be there since I live pretty much right off the road, like an hour away. It's an hour train ride away from Massapequa train station. Anyway, once that happens, they said that they will also have certain NFTs. Like, we have promo codes on there. If you go to an event such as a DesignerCon or maybe a concert or whatever it is that you go to, and you buy a collectible from there and you have a promo code, you can go in and get that digital twin, kind of like they're doing with the hero cards. Again, I thought that was very, very bullish. Moving on. The update that they had said to a brand with 2 Ps that I think David said, most people were thinking Pixar Pals, but we actually just thought of Pizza Planet and Powerpuff Girls. So those are the other things that we thought we might see some updates in. However, Powerpuff Girls is in that series, that season 1. So most likely it's not going to be them. Even though there are 2 series of them, most likely it's not. Most likely it's going to be from the season 3 that we're in right now, which would be either the Pizza Planet truck that we have or the Pixar Pals. So either way, comment down below which one you think it is. A lot of people do think it's going to be the Woody. You pull the strings, like, there's a snake in my boots. That would be really good. Okay, more stuff. This next part is just going to be about metaverses at large and how many trillions of dollars are going to be going into this in the future. So not a ton, but Bored Ape Yacht Club just raised $450 million to build a metaverse. And again, remember how I said, even if Veve has to pay a certain amount of millions of dollars to cover, certain fees, whatever. Again, that's might sound like a lot, maybe $20 million, but that's really not a lot when, again, considering how much valuation Veve is worth, how much people can raise just in an instant. Again, Bored Ape Yacht Club, $450 million. They're not Disney, they're not DC, they're not Givenchy, they're not high-end stuff like Aston Martin. So, moving on. Australia's largest airline, Qantas, has announced an NFT drop to their frequent flyers, just NFTs just becoming more mainstream. Chinese courts has sentenced a man to 11 months in prison and a fine of 5,000 yuan for illegally mining Ethereum, which is really bullish for places like the US, people that are able to mine. Why? Because if China and other places in the world want to ban it, a lot of that money has got to go somewhere, and I would much rather it go to the US than China. And on, Dogecoin Foundation is considering legal action against Matt Wallace for trademark abuse, so it's going to be interesting to see that. Anything that does get in the news, whether it's good or bad, again, no such thing as bad publicity. Moving on here. The company Meta, also formerly known as Facebook, has filed 8 trademark applications for crypto services and the metaverse. I'm not sure if that's more or less than what Disney had filed for. Either way, there seems to be a race to see who's going to have the biggest, who's going to have the best metaverse. But with Facebook hiring Bob Iger, former Disney CEO, it does seem like those two companies are pretty friendly. There are images of people making different avatars of like Mickey Mouse. Again, they're not 3D digital collectibles. Anyone can do that. They're not really worth anything. It's just customization. It's just pretty cool. And maybe you might see a Facebook Disney partnership in the future. Facebook has been building this for a while with like 10,000 employees, and Disney has the most powerful IP in the world. I think that would be really cool if they did something like that. If anyone remembers the game Tetris, well, they just filed a trademark application for NFTs and the metaverse. Most things in the future will have, it has come to my attention, and I think Dan Chabel mentioned it on the podcast that we were in, that most things in the future will have a metaverse. Again, if CVS files for metaverse, which they have, everyone's going to get in. So a lot of the video games at some point will get in. A lot of Nintendo at some point will get in. And, well, who's everyone going to want to play with? Most likely, Veve. A lot of people complaining that Veve might not make a lot of money on the secondary market just because the transaction fees are really small. Again, even if they're very small, even if the smallest ones for Cryptkins that sell for $9 or comics that sell for $5 versus Waltz that have sold on the app for like $50,000 or Spider-Man for $100,000, that all matters. And I bring this up because Ethereum is on track to generate $12.9 billion in transaction fees in 2022. 12.9 with a B, as in Bravo. That is a lot. That is deca billionaire status there. Also, some bullish news for Americans. A bill that requires reports on the adoption of Bitcoin as legal tender in El Salvador has moved to the U.S. Senate. Fascinating. All in all, it's a pretty bullish day. I'm very excited. So please comment, like, and subscribe. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. Everyone say bye-bye to Dashi. Bye-bye, Dashi. And everyone please check out @HateDavidDon, @KingMavsForever over on Twitter, Standoff Chart, and King Mavs over on the Veve app. Kobe Collects and Only Player One over on the YouTube, RayTax.eth domain. Kyle Willson, Wendy Stibalis, Veve Las Vegas, Tap Trades, Mars Davis, Legacy Bermuda, Sody Pop Media, The Gale, Veve Darklink, and Veve Vibes, all on the YouTube, and @WhatWizardVeve, and Gary O @1234CA3, all on the Twitter. I love you guys. Bye. Meow, 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 meow.